Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Illini Drive. I am Josh Pietsch, joined alongside, as usual, by Gabby Hajduk. It's a Thursday show, which means we always start with our recap of The Bachelorette. First, Gabby, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. A little stressed. Busy time of the week. When, you save everything to the end of the week and it all just piles up.
Procrastination at its finest.
Yeah, I'm on coffee number 2 of the day. Feeling good.
I'm on water number 7 or 8.
Proud of you.
Because coffee gives me anxiety.
Yep, me too. But here we go.
But here we are.
Here we are. I think I've maybe had 1 cup of water today.
Well, I mean, it's COVID time, so I'm not sharing with you. But I would give you some water.
I have water.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Maybe I'll drink some right now.
So Tuesday night after the show, I finally did it. I went over to Gabby's apartment above Taco Bell, and I watched The Bachelorette. And I have to say, I was pretty interested in it.
Josh was pretty into it.
I was pretty into it. I actually went back to my house after, and I didn't tell you this, Gabby. Sure enough, some of my frat brothers with a couple of the girlfriends were sitting right in our green room watching The Bachelorette, but they were actually watching episode 2, which I had not watched.
Oh.
I have to say this. If I started with episode number 2, Gabby, I probably would not have gone back. I probably just would have called it quits.
Yeah, episode 2 was horrible.
I hated it. I thought it was terrible. Episode 3, I liked it. So you and I both watched it. I was super into it, but you're the expert, so why don't you give the Bachelorette fans a recap?
Yeah, so basically, here's the recap, Dale. If you took a shot for every time Claire said the name Dale,
what a compare!
You would literally be in the hospital. That's how many times this woman said it. She is obsessed with this man and refused to give any other guy there any sort of time. She just dissed every other guy. She literally made the whole group date wait until all day. They thought they were going on this group date and then came in at night and was like, sorry for making you wait, but I'm canceling the date. We're just going to have a big cocktail party. Well, what happened at the cocktail party? Her and Dale were off doing whatever for an hour while the other guys were just sitting there, and then Dale ended up interrupting again when the other guys were trying to talk to her, and she wanted no part in any other guy. So I'm all for women feeling self-empowered. I'm all for women feeling confident in themselves. I think that's the way it should be. I'm all for that. But you don't have to put down or just diss these other men just to prove you feel empowered by yourself. That's actually the opposite. You don't have to be rude just to prove that you're confident and you're independent. Those don't go hand in hand together. Being a bad person and basically being rude to these guys who are spent 2 or 3 weeks quarantining just to meet you, just to try and find a chance at love with you, just completely diss them 3 days into the show. I don't know. It's kind of childish to me, and Claire prides herself on being so mature and everything. I think she's actually being very immature and not giving everybody a fair chance. I get if you really like this guy, that's fine, and you're here to find love, so it's fine. But you still have to give them a chance, or at least just be honest with them. So we kind of saw some things go down at the end of the episode that's foreshadowing basically Claire leaving next week and Tayshia coming in. Tayshia looked so good in the preview for next week. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so just to add on a little bit, the episode started with Claire getting chewed out by this guy, Yosef. That was his name, right? And he was very rude to her for about 20 minutes. She ended up crying. Of course, Dale was there to comfort her after. But she was really upset, and she wasn't feeling it the next day. That's part of the reason she canceled the cocktail party. And she actually did go on a solo date with the guy. They had a pretty nice time. They went to the spa. They had a spa day, mani-pedis, all that stuff. They went in the pool. They saw a dog. It was awesome. And then at the end, this was a little confusing. A little bit of bad on both sides. She tried to kiss him. He was there ready for the kiss, and then she backed away.
And she pulled away and got mad at him.
That he pulled away, which he definitely did not.
No.
I think it's very obvious. But then this guy, what was his name, Gabby?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
Zach.
Unfortunately, Zach, we'll call him, grabbed Claire by the wrist and kind of by the neck too. I don't think he was trying to be mean.
No.
He was definitely way too aggressive, being no, come back, I want to kiss you.
Yeah.
He was flustered. He got a little angry. He definitely shouldn't have grabbed her. And then she was like, no, just go get ready for dinner. They were about to have their dinner. He was sitting there for about what seemed like 15, 20 minutes. Then Chris Harrison comes and says she won't be coming back. So she actually did give a couple guys a chance a little bit, but then it was just Dale.
Really.
And then, like, it's kind of similar to the strip dodgeball. She did another very immature thing. She had the group date be a roast session between the guys.
But then she was the one who got offended by the roast.
And then every single guy, no matter what they said, she just asked them about their roasting of Dale. She didn't even talk about
She's
them.
like, wait, what has Dale said about
any roast to them, and they were all disappointed.
And then she had the nerve to get mad at them and not give out a roast.
It was hard. It was so entertaining. Oh my gosh.
So entertaining, but so immature.
Like, this is not Dale's fault, by the way.
No.
This is not Dale's fault. This is Claire's fault. Now, she seems like a very nice lady. She's good looking. She seems like she can be mature, but the way she's handling this is very immature in my eyes. Very immature.
I'm excited for next week, though. But we won't be able to recap it because it's on a Thursday because of the election.
Yes, but we can preview it. Yes, Tuesday, we probably will do the show, but it'll be a shortened show, and it's election night. All classes are canceled at U of I. I know my sister in high school, her classes are canceled as well. Because everyone that's listening, go out and vote. Tuesday, election day. We might not know the results right away, but it's super important to go out and vote.
Let's get to sports.
So let's get to sports. Before we get into the weekend game, a little bit of news from John Rothstein. We still haven't, Gabby, gotten his name. One day we'll get John's name right. John tweeted, and he's a reliable source, that it's official. Illinois will be playing at Duke in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. They haven't played since 2007. Illinois has not beaten Duke since 1995. Obviously, Duke is a perennial powerhouse. They're a blue blood. They have DJ Stewart, who was a top recruit with Adam Miller, so they'll get to play each other as freshmen. I don't know about you, Gabby. I'm pumped for this game.
I'm really excited. I think this is really exciting. Top 10 matchup. Obviously, we don't know exactly where the rankings fall right now. Illinois has been as high as 4, as low as 7-8 area. Duke's kind of around that 7-8 area as well in most polls. I'm really excited. I think this is a huge test right off the bat. We obviously talked about the Baylor game a little, like a week or two ago, the potential Jimmy V Classic that Illinois could play Baylor. If they play Duke and Baylor, that's just... They are
playing Duke and Baylor.
Well, the Baylor one hasn't been confirmed yet.
Right.
Because they're trying to figure out what to do with the Jimmy V Classic.
Indianapolis might be the leader for that one, by the way.
But that's really exciting. And I think as much as those games matter, like, I don't think they really matter record-wise. Obviously, it's good to get wins in the beginning of the year, but I think it's just more of a test to see where this team is actually at to start the season. Obviously, if Illinois loses to Duke and Baylor, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, they're so bad. Like,
I don't think any Illini fan will.
But also, if they win, I'm not going to be like national championship. Because
I will.
The beginning of the season, those games, you grow a lot from the beginning of the season as a team. So, and we have seen that with the Illini the past couple of years. Even Iowa's first year here, we saw such a big jump from the beginning to the end. That Michigan State game freshman year. So I just feel super excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for fans.
Well, there will be no fans.
Well, to watch. Yeah. I'm saying, like, on TV. I'm excited for the players, and I'm excited for Underwood to just really get a sense of, like, where Io's at. How much has he improved? How much has Kofi improved? Where these freshmen are at? How much playing time is he going to give these freshmen? Because it's not like these are, you know, no offense, but like Lewis non-conference games we're playing. You know what I mean? So it's not like you could just throw the freshmen in there and you know you'll pull out a win anyways.
Yeah. So, you know, we don't know what the dates are, but this reminds me, a little weird comparison, but it reminds me of last year when the Illini traveled to Arizona and played, I don't know what's going on, Gabby. They played Grand Canyon on a Friday and then Arizona on a Sunday, and that was like to simulate some type of tournament thing. We don't know how far apart Baylor and Duke will be, but this could definitely be, you know, like a Sweet 16 to Elite 8, Elite 8 to Final Four to National Championship type of thing. So, again, Jimmy V is going to be neutral site. Duke's going to be on the road. Assuming Illinois doesn't get blown out in both, I don't think any fan is going to blink an eye. It should be good experience. It's going to be good for Io, definitely, because he is a preseason All-American for CBS, if those didn't know. DJ Stewart, nationally acclaimed freshman. He's awesome. Kofi will get another chance. Adam Miller gets to go against him. I think it's going to be really fun. The other thing I like about this is So the other top team in the ACC is Virginia, and as fantastic as Virginia is and well coached as they are with Anthony Bennett, Duke's a bigger deal than Virginia, and they're a bigger name, and they usually have the biggest game. So I like that this shows where, people like ranking, like the people that rank and just people on a national scale, because this is where they see Illinois is.
Yeah.
They see them playing Duke in the top ACC Big Ten game. I love it.
Yeah, and I think Duke has a little bit to prove. They were kind of disappointing last year.
They were.
Very disappointing for a Duke program. So I think they have a lot to prove this year. Illinois is obviously super hungry to prove that they belong in the top of college basketball right now. I'm sure Io is hungry to prove his worth to NBA teams this year. So it's going to be really exciting and just something super minor. They could play Alan Griffin's brother.
They could.
Adrian Griffin.
That's true.
At Duke.
I think they will be. He'll play, right?
I think he'll play. I doubt
he's not going to start.
But
Stewart will start.
I think that'll just be interesting because I'm sure some of them have connections with Alan's brother, and he's supposed to be super good.
Yes.
He's really talented, higher recruit than Alan was.
Yeah.
They have a really talented family. Their sister plays basketball at UConn.
And we all know who the dad is.
So really cool, just little family tie there. But yeah, I'm excited. It'll be cool.
So obviously Baylor is in the most recent ESPN ones. I think Baylor's number 1, Illinois is number 7, and Duke is number 10. I'm pretty sure about Duke and Illinois, not sure about Baylor. So
yeah.
I can imagine a lot of people are going to take Baylor and Jimmy V. And then probably a toss-up at Duke, because even though it is at Duke, there will be no fans. I'm sure there will be some sort of background noise. But also, I think it is worth noting that Duke's going to be a lot younger than Illinois is, a lot less experienced. And Duke doesn't always start the season very strong. They lost at home as the number 1 team in the country to Stephen F. Austin maybe last year. It was a mid-major team.
That sounds right.
They lost as the number 1 team in the country at home earlier in the year last year. And obviously Duke is so talented, and Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, is fantastic. But I'm just saying, if Illinois comes out with a win, no one will be surprised. If they come out with a loss, no one will be surprised. I expect a really, really hard-fought game.
I agree.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
It's going to be fun.
I'm itching for college basketball.
Less than a month.
I love college basketball. And just the feel around the NBA bubble with no fans, and just obviously it's not going to be the same with college basketball because it's not in a bubble or anything, but the no fans for basketball is so different than the no fans for football. The no fans for football is just depressing. I feel like the no fans for basketball is just feels like a high school basketball tournament or an AAU tournament. And the energy, I don't know. I love the energy.
It doesn't matter. It's the energy from the benches.
Exactly. And so I think college basketball is going to be a little more exciting than college football this year, in my opinion. And there's just so many good teams.
Yeah.
So many good teams. Especially in the Big Ten, which will be super
Big
exciting.
Ten's going to be so stacked.
It's going to be crazy.
I think
who's Iowa supposed to play in the ACC?
So it has to be Virginia, right? I think it's got to be. You can check. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it. I mean, I guess I would assume so.
Because I think they're the clear top 2, because North Carolina, especially after last year, is not at the top of the
Virginia
conference.
will host Michigan State.
That makes sense. Is Iowa going to play North Carolina? Because that'd be a ton of fun. I'd root for Iowa in that game.
I don't see Iowa.
Are they going to play a bum?
I don't know. Because it says, Iowa will host North Carolina.
Oh, they are. Okay, I was going to get Florida State, actually.
Okay, Iowa will host North Carolina.
So then Wisconsin, Florida State?
Miami, Purdue, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Wisconsin, Louisville, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Northwestern, Pitt, Clemson, Maryland, Minnesota, Boston, Rutgers, Syracuse, Duke, Illinois, Florida State, Indiana.
Florida State, Indiana. Okay.
Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, NC State, and then Virginia, Michigan State.
Those are some really good games.
Those are really, could be the best weekend in college basketball besides March Madness.
That's going to be so fun to watch. I'm so excited for Brad.
Me too.
So excited for Brad.
I think this is such a big moment, and I think that really goes to show what Brad Underwood has done with this program. You mentioned earlier, just the name of Duke. They obviously had an off year last year, but Coach K is obviously a legend. Will go down as a legend, and just to get the status of being a competitor against Duke. Like, if you told me this 3 years ago that Illinois was going to be playing Duke and, like, had a really solid 50-50 shot to win, I'd even maybe argue 60-40.
Or more, yeah.
For Illinois, I would think you're crazy. Like, I know we've talked about this on here before, but, like, just what Underwood has been able to do and his whole coaching staff. Obviously, Antigua, Chin. Oh my God, I was blanking on his name.
Gentry, new one.
The new coach. Like, what they have been able to do with this program in such a short amount of time is super impressive. And just I don't think people give Io a ton of credit, but, like, they don't give him, or we don't talk about enough what Io has done, like, culture-wise for this program. So, I don't know. I think this is just a really, like, game aside and, you know, whoever wins aside, this is just, like, a really cool achievement for Underwood and this team. And I'm so excited for Io to get back to the big stage. And we know he thrives in this type of environment. He doesn't thrive in the non-conference games. He doesn't, like, that's not where he plays his best basketball. He plays his best basketball against the best teams in the country. So, I mean, we'll obviously expect him to have 2 really big games. Imagine if we got 2 game winners from Io. And, like, because I think the Jimmy V is supposed to be December 2nd. Yeah. And ACC Big Ten is December 8th or 9th. So, like, a week apart.
That's perfect.
Imagine if we got 2 Io icing the game.
So here's what I'm thinking.
Top 10 teams.
Last year for the Illini, started off the year, had your blowout wins. The very first game, they almost lost to Nicholls State. They kind of got lucky that they went to overtime and they won because Trent hit some free throws. Total, in my opinion, it was total luck. Carson, I know, was on that game. He was broadcasting. Yeah. And then started blowing teams out. Go to Arizona, keep it close for a half, lose by 20. Lose to Miami, but then the second big-name team they faced was Michigan, who they actually beat. So Baylor, I don't expect a ton. Baylor's really, really, really good.
Baylor's so good.
And obviously Illinois probably going to start a little rusty. Everyone will. Hopefully they carry the momentum, but we can't be sure of anything. That's, even if the Baylor game isn't phenomenal, I really just think this Duke game is going to be so much fun.
The only thing I am worried about, and I think we're seeing this with football, is the non-conference games are just the time to try new things, to form chemistry. Because obviously we know this Illinois team is having crazy competitive practices right now, but playing each other isn't the same as playing another team. And I think Illinois football is a perfect example of how important those non-conference games are to, like, get the kinks out and work through some things, be able to change things around before you get the big league competition. Because I know Illinois would have loved to have, like, 3 non-conference games before seeing Wisconsin, obviously. Yeah. So I am a little worried that the basketball team is just going to need that extra couple games to, like, really fit together. Because you think, like, we don't know the starting lineup, obviously. We've speculated a lot what we think it's going to be. We
speculated it 100 times.
We anticipate, like, 1 or 2 new guys in the starting lineup. So, and while that's only 1 or 2 guys, that's still significant, especially we don't know how they're going to try and rework their offense this year. I assume the defense will play pretty similarly. You know, have Trent to Montana, your best guys. But you never know if, like last year, like, Underwood had to change some things around. Like, things weren't working at the beginning of the season. People were really worried. Fans were really worried in the beginning of the season, saying, like, oh my gosh, this team is not good. This team is not good. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. I think they're kind of going to be forced into playing really good competition. So hopefully they work their kinks out within a quarter of the Baylor game. And hopefully that's just, like, we figure it out and Io kind of just dominates and Kofi. But it is a bit of a concern of mine.
So here's what I will say, because I like the comparison to football. I totally agree with you. If Illinois could have played Bowling Green and ISU and UConn, that would have been fantastic. But we also have to understand that the talent level in basketball compared to football is a huge gap, very big gap.
Yes.
But I remember, Gabby, we were on the show when we were speculating a little bit who would be in Illinois' in-house tournament. We didn't know if it was going to be powerhouses, if they were going to do, I wanted to see, like, an all-Illinois thing. If you were to tell me, hey, we're going to give you 3, like mid-major teams that aren't that have no name recognition, so that you can play Baylor and Duke, I would take that 100 times. So they do have their little in-house thing. They have 3 games to prepare. Yeah. Hopefully, it's going to be 3 games in 3 days, right? So they can knock off a little bit of the rust there. They can try some new things, hopefully find a groove by the end. This team's been playing, together. I've already heard the practices have been super intense, that they've been fun. I think they're going to be ready. All right, we're going to take a little break. When we get back, another football game this weekend. Illinois hosts the first game. That's next on Illini Drive. Welcome back to Illini Drive. It's Thursday. We are 2 days away. I can't get anything right tonight, Gabby.
Can't talk.
2 days away from Illinois' first home football game of the year after getting embarrassed by Wisconsin last Friday night to open the Big Ten season. They host Purdue, who's coming off an impressive win against Iowa at home. They beat them 24-20. That's right, Purdue. Purdue, baby. Illinois versus Purdue, 2020. Last year, Illinois played Purdue in West Lafayette, and they won a terribly conditioned game. It was cold. It was rainy. I had a buddy that went to it. He said it's the worst conditions he's ever seen a sports game in, period. So that's fun. But Illinois won 24-6. Tony Adams had a pick 6. Dre Brown had probably the game of his career, right?
Yeah.
Over 100 yards, touchdown. So, yeah, Illinois goes back against Purdue, but this time they're hosting them at Memorial Stadium. Gabby and I will be there. That's going to be fun. Probably no Rondell Moore, Gabby. Let's start with that. We're not really sure, but according to the receivers coach, he's not practicing right now. How big of a difference does this make?
I think it makes a difference because he's obviously a phenomenal receiver, NFL talent, eventually. But Purdue did just fine without him last week. David Bell had a monster game. He had like 129 yards, couple touchdowns.
121 yards, 3 touchdowns.
There we go.
13 catches.
13 catches. So, dude's a monster, and I was good. It's not like they played... I don't even know who's really bad in the Big Ten anymore. Us. It's not like they played a bad team. I was really, really good. They're good. So... David Bell got it done. One of their running backs also had a really good game. So
yeah, Horvath,
yeah.
129 yards. He didn't score a touchdown, but those all went to David Bell. So I don't think not having Rondell is like, oh my God, Illinois has such an advantage now. Like, they're still going to... The only thing is the Illinois secondary does tend to struggle when there's multiple, like, strong receivers out there, just because we saw last week the Illinois secondary clearly is not as strong as we thought it would be. So I think only having, like, one major target out there might help. But Purdue still is pretty deep at receiver. And with this Horvath guy, like, I'm assuming he'll be able to catch some passes, even though he's a running back. So... And Aiden O'Connell did really well. I don't want to say really well. I think he had kind of a mixed game, and I actually interviewed one of Purdue's beat writers yesterday, and he said, O'Connell said after the game, like, he's just still the big thing is he's just making, like, mental mistakes. Well, Aiden O'Connell had to get into the game. He had a bad first half, but then he played really well.
That's
in
the thing with him is he's had, like, 4 or 5 comebacks in the fourth quarter now. So he's really strong late in the game, but he still has those kind of rookie-ish mental errors in the beginning of the game. He was like 31 for 50, which is insane, like throwing 50 passes, considering Brandon Peters threw, 19 last week. So he was 31 for 50, had 5 touchdowns?
O'Connell?
Or 3?
3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and how many yards?
282.
So I would say a pretty solid game, minus a few early mistakes.
That 31 for 50 is not very good.
No.
That's like 62% is good.
It's decent. That's a lot of passes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
When you complete 31 passes and you only get 282 yards, or I'm sorry, 50 attempts for 282 yards, that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think the numbers are just a little weird. But he still had a good game. I think his thing is just getting more consistent, getting used to the starting role. It was kind of back and forth last year. They had some quarterback issues last year. So it looks like he's the surefire starter to go with this season. So, I mean, where do you think this Illinois defense is at mentally? Obviously, the front seven played pretty strong in the first half against Wisconsin, got tired. Wisconsin was able to establish the run game in the second half. What do you think they need to do to hold Purdue down?
So that's what I was just about to say, Gabby. I think that this score for Purdue, Iowa, and the box score in particular could look very similar to what's going to happen at Memorial Stadium on Saturday. I think that Illinois needs a good first half, especially from the secondary. The secondary has to play really well because Graham Mertz lit up our secondary, especially in the second half. Like, not as many touchdowns, so many passes. He looked phenomenal. They got tired. That goes hand in hand with the offense. They need to step up and they need to play some dang offense and actually move the ball for once and, not go 0 for 3 on fourth down or whatever. So I think that if the defense doesn't play as much as they did in the first half, and also let's be, Purdue's offense isn't going to be the same as Wisconsin's. A lot more natural talent in Madison. This Wisconsin team was phenomenal. That being said, Aiden O'Connell's a good quarterback. David Bell is an awesome receiver, and Horvath, or however you say his last name, is a good running back. If they have Rondell Moore, that's your NFL player.
Yeah.
The secondary can't get tired in the first half. They have to play a complete game, at least 3.5 quarters. The D-line's going to have to do more than what they did against Wisconsin.
They need pressure.
Hopefully the offense helps out with that. But if this secondary can't handle David Bell and the rest of a very good Purdue receiving core with a pretty good quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, Illinois doesn't have a chance.
I think the thing with the defensive line is hopefully having Isaiah Gay back. We obviously haven't really heard too much. We're anticipating it was just a one-game suspension. I mean, he's your most experienced guy in this Lovie Smith team, this Lovie Smith defense. So I think having him back is huge, combined with Roderick Perry having another strong game. He had a really big outing against Wisconsin in his first game with the Illini. And then you need to have Tariq Barnes step up again. You are going to have Milo Eifler the entire game. He obviously was out that first half because of a targeting call back in December. The whole targeting rule is insane. But your front seven needs to get more pressure. Graham Mertz, back on Friday night, had all the time in the world to throw. He could have done a whole TikTok dance and still threw a touchdown.
And still torch us.
And still torch Illinois. It was insane how much time he got. That all, obviously, like we keep saying, was paired with the fact that the offense couldn't stay on the field for more than 5 seconds, it seemed like. But the D-line definitely needs to get more pressure. I don't think we're going to see the secondary blow as big of coverages as we saw last week at the postgame press conference. Lovie did say he was very surprised by how they played, so hopefully that got corrected. I really want to see Illinois establish the run game. I trust Brandon Peters and I trust the receivers to take a step up this week. I feel like I can confidently say last week was pretty much rock bottom for the offense.
Yeah.
We need to get these running backs more involved. As much as I love Brandon Peters as a runner, and you know what, keep running Brandon Peters. If defenses aren't going to respect him as a runner, run him because he can clearly do it. But you have running backs for a reason. You need to establish that run game early. Purdue has a better defense than they had last year, but it's not anything compared to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So establishing the run game, get Chase Brown involved. He only had 3 carries last week.
12 yards, yeah.
He is a really good runner. They were super high on him. He's very fast. So getting him and Mike Epstein involved, obviously you feel a little worried with Mike Epstein because of what happened last week. You want to obviously hope that was a fluke. But if you can't establish the run early, I think you're going to see a pretty similar outcome from Peters and the receivers that you did last week.
It would be a long game. And after Ked Prince asked about Brandon Peters on Monday, asked Rod Smith, I was like, hey, these guys combined for just over half the yards that Peters did. What are you going to do? And Rod Smith did tell me, he said, we're going to look to get Epstein and these guys much more involved. So do expect that. But the other thing, Gabby, is that I think that Peters is going to run for close to 100 yards on Saturday. I think that could be one of the surprise stats that we see because Smith did say he needs to lift the lid off a little bit. He needs to let him be free, tuck it under his arm and run because he actually held him back a little bit. So if that happens, maybe Peters is more of a dual threat QB than we thought. Maybe he'll go off. I think that, but it would be fantastic if Epstein and Brown could control the run game and Peters could do something in the air, throw for 200-plus yards and a couple touchdowns. Because if they do that and the defense holds up, we could definitely see a brand new Illinois team, and they could come out Saturday afternoon with a win against Purdue. But if the run game doesn't get established, if Peters is as inconsistent and mediocre at times as he was on Saturday, the offense won't score.
Listen, as much as I love Brandon Peters as a dual threat quarterback, and I think he can be, I have to think Purdue's going to keep a close eye on that. I don't think Wisconsin expected him to run at all. And when he did, I don't think they really thought he could run.
He ran last year. They should have expected that.
Yeah, but he didn't run that much last year. That's the thing, is Rod Smith didn't really have him run that much last year. As much as I would love a 100-yard game from Brandon Peters, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I think it could happen.
It could. It's definitely not far-fetched. I'd just rather see him establish his passing game first.
Same.
Let's establish your real job first, and then we can get to all the fun things.
How about Illinois establishes a tight end game? You got 3 tight ends, Rod Smith. Please use them. Brandon, please. If Luke Ford could catch 5 passes, if Barker could catch 3 or 4, and the same thing with Matter Bebe, because it sounds like he's playing. He's healthy now.
Okay.
If the 3 of them could catch a dozen, a couple handfuls of passes, I'd be really happy, because we brought these guys in for a reason. Let's use them.
They're big targets.
They are.
These dudes are big targets. I'm going to be mad if we keep targeting, or if Brandon Peters keeps targeting Josh Imatorbhebhe.
It would be nice if he could catch more than 30% of the passes thrown at him. I get that
I want to see some targets to Donnie Navarro this week. I want to see that. I think another big thing Illinois needs to focus on is the return game. That was horrible. Kyron Cumbie literally let a ball just fall in front of him. I think Chase Brown dropped one and picked it back up, and obviously didn't gain anything. Special teams is huge, and if you can take advantage of that, if you can get a couple good runs and give Brandon Peters a good field position, it's obvious, but that is so helpful, especially when your offense clearly isn't at the point we thought it was going to be at. And Lovie Smith hyped up this return game before the season started. He literally said they've put some new pieces in. He feels really good about who's going to return the football. I'm really hoping everything that happened at Wisconsin was just a fluke, and they just were not prepared the way they thought they were prepared. And we see a totally different Illinois team out there. Obviously, you'd love to see James McCourt get more involved. You want to see less of Blake Hayes. Even though you love Blake Hayes and he's team MVP every year, you want to see less of him.
Yeah.
But when he does show up, he's always good. Blake Hayes is literally the GOAT on the team.
We have to remember how good Wisconsin is. They really...
I know. I need to give them more credit.
Wisconsin, who was phenomenal last year, by the way, lost to Ohio State 38-7. Mm-hmm. We have to remember that Illinois might be a little bit better than they looked against Wisconsin. I agree with you. That probably was pretty close to rock bottom. Gabby, do you remember who I said I want to see in the return game? Kamari Thompson. Give him a chance. The track runner.
I want to see Marquez Beeson.
Kez could be fun.
Never happen.
It's not gonna happen. It would be fun though. I really think Kamari Thompson could do something back there. It's worth trying. The return team was invisible against Wisconsin, so I think it could work. Give Brandon Peters some room. And now again, we have to credit Purdue, and mostly I just want to credit Jeff Brom. That dude is an awesome coach. He didn't leave Purdue. He stayed there instead of going to Louisville. I don't know if you heard all the rumors about that a couple years ago. Really, really good coach.
He's also back coaching this weekend.
He is back coaching.
He was out with COVID.
And I guess what we can kind of finish with here, a day ago, people weren't 100% sure if Illinois would be playing on Saturday because Graham Mertz, the quarterback of Wisconsin, tested positive twice, and they have 12 cases.
Now they're up to 16.
Now they're up to 16, but Illinois is testing every single day with both tests, I believe. Yeah. And according to Lovie Smith, they're still clean.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm hoping everyone at Wisconsin is healthy and recovers, and they're able to minimize this. But I'm hoping, really, really hoping that they didn't catch it till Friday night or Saturday.
I really hope they all just got it Saturday night.
Yeah. I don't know. It worries me a little, but I feel like something would have shown up by now in Illinois' test if anyone were to have it. So I feel pretty good going into this game. Josh, you and I will both be there covering it. Super exciting. Your first game you're covering at Memorial Stadium?
Nope, second.
Okay, well, in Gene's 199.
As a writer for
the DI,
yes.
the football beat writer.
This is my first one. I'm really excited. I'll be ready for Gabby to pick me up in the Ford. In the Ford at 8:40 or 8:45 in the morning. It'll be Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone.
Spooky.
It's going to be a spooky game. Maybe a little bit of Halloween magic for Illinois to improve to 1-1.
Let's do our score predictions.
Score predictions. Ladies first, Gabby.
Illinois 24-21. I think James McCourt hits a maybe not game-winning field goal, but like his field goal seals the win. Or like that's the go-ahead score. My
pick was technically correct. Last week I took Wisconsin. I don't trust myself to be 100%. I'm going to go Purdue 31-23. I right now think Purdue's going to win this game. Maybe I'm just saying that because I feel like my opinion actually has something to do with the game. I think I'm going to go Purdue 31-23. 31. I'm going to pick the Boilermakers to win.
I'll be sad.
I would also be sad, but I'm going to go Purdue 31-23.
Okay. Illinois 24-21.
Let's just hope that it doesn't happen. We're going to take a break. As we always close out the Thursday shows with, we're going to preview this week's game of this week of NFL games. That's next on the Illini Drive. Welcome back to Illini Drive. All right, there's a football game tonight, so
kind of bad.
Not these Thursday night. Except honestly, other than Bears Buccaneers in the first one between the Texans and Chiefs, which wasn't even a really good game, has not been great Thursday night games so far. It's the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers tonight. I mean, Panthers are like 3-3, I think. Falcons are 1-something. It's not a great game. What are you doing, NFL? Come on.
Come on, give me a better game.
We really
I'm not watching tonight, but I'll pick the Panthers because the Falcons are just not good.
Well, the Falcons are 1-6. The game's in Carolina, North Carolina, and the Panthers are, I think they're a 3-win team. They are
3-4.
3-4. Oh yeah, because the Bears beat them. That's right. So yeah, not a very good game. Why not? I'm going to take the Falcons. Matt Ryan, let's do something on offense here. All right, Sunday, November 1st, noon slate. New England Patriots at Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, Josh Allen. I think the Bills they only beat the Jets like 18-10 or something like that. Stop TikTok dancing. Stop TikTok dancing, Gabby. The Bills are coming off an 18-10 win at the Jets, and New England got stomped on. So I'll still take the Bills. Josh Allen bounced back. Give me some fantasy points, bud.
Bill Belichick secretly tanking for Trevor.
Yeah, agreed. Tennessee Titans at Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's going to be Titans, but the Bengals aren't playing horribly.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's really good. He just doesn't really have much talent around him.
Yeah. I think the Titans are angry and that they're going to do a little bounce back.
Angry that the Pittsburgh Steelers beat them.
Yeah, Steelers are good.
I would be too.
We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I will also take the Titans. Las Vegas Raiders at the Cleveland Browns.
I'll probably go Raiders.
As much as I hate taking them, I'll take Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
Okay.
I really don't like Baker, but I think they'll take care of business at
Without
home.
Odell?
Yeah, I still think so. Jarvis Landry, more fantasy points. Indianapolis Colts at Detroit Lions.
Colts. It might be a good game, though.
I will also take the Colts. It'll probably be a good game.
Matt
Stafford always has it like once or twice a year where he just comes out of nowhere and beats a pretty good defense. But I don't
the
think
Lions aren't horrible.
They're not horrible at all.
They're not horrible.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts.
But I'll go Colts. Jonathan Taylor, give me some fantasy points.
Good old-fashioned NFC North rivalry game. Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay Packers.
Vikings are probably like the best 1-5 team.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I don't know who else is who else is a one-win team.
Not saying the Vikings are great, but I think they're better than their record shows, in my opinion.
So inconsistent.
Yeah. For sure, Packers.
Do I even have to say this one? Jets at Chiefs.
Jets. No, I'm kidding. Chiefs.
What if the Jets actually won that game?
Do you think they would cover, though? It's minus 19.5.
Chiefs. 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bet on that game. Just kidding. Rams at Dolphins.
Rams.
Oh, Tua's starting.
Tua is starting.
Yeah, Tua's going to start.
Still Rams.
After seeing what the Rams did against the Bears, I'm going to say Rams for sure. But Tua.
Rams are legit.
Gabby, you know this. I'm not high on Tua at all.
No,
I would have taken Herbert over him by many picks. When he got drafted and they showed that injury list, I'm not surprised if he gets injured in the second half.
Yeah.
Rams for sure. All right. Gabby, it's time to put some money down. It's the game of the week. Gabby and I are going to get back to our famous bets. We are 1-1 on our bets. Yes. Here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. If you know anything about Gabby, you can guess who she's taking.
Steelers. Whoop, whoop. But I'm not going to be surprised if they lose. Like, my hopes are low. But we're betting on I'm taking the Steelers to win. You're taking the Ravens.
Yes, I will take the Ravens.
We have an undecided food bet at the moment.
I hesitate, but Lamar Jackson, he's going to run all over the Steelers, kind of like the way Derrick Henry runs all over everyone but the Steelers.
He can't run over the Steelers.
He will.
Okay.
Ravens, you're going to lose a meal, Gabby.
Baltimore is the favorite.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
My second favorite team in the league, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos.
Chargers?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm also hopping on the Chargers train, mainly because I really like Justin Herbert. So I will also call them my second favorite team.
I said before the draft. So maybe I shouldn't say my second favorite team because of the Bills and Josh Allen with me.
Yeah.
But I said wherever Herbert goes, I'm going to become a fan of. I love him in LA. It's the perfect fit.
I do too.
Yeah, Chargers for sure. Saints at Bears.
Saints.
Bears.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. The Bears are going to win.
Game?
I promise you. Bears are going to win. That's the 325 on Fox. San Francisco 49ers at Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks, take care of business at home.
Did you watch the Cardinals game? Really good game.
Yes, it was a really
fantastic game. I think that everyone on the field had fun. I'll take the Seahawks. Sunday Night Football, 7:20. Yeesh. Dallas at Philadelphia.
This is a gross game. Why didn't they flex Steelers-Ravens?
I can't even happily take Philadelphia. That's how bad these two teams are.
I'll take Eagles, but why wouldn't they flex the Steelers game?
I don't know. I'm taking Philadelphia, but What a bad game. Monday Night Football, better game than people think. Tampa Bay at New York Giants.
Better game, though. Tampa Bay, easy.
I'm taking the Giants. Daniel Jones, show me what you're made
Antonio
of.
Brown gets negative yards. And yes, I am a hater, and I don't care.
Yep, I'm going to take the Giants. Daniel Jones, like I said, show me what you're made of. That's going to do it for today's show. Happy Halloween, everyone. Go out and vote on Election Day. Yes. It's going to do it for the show. From Gabby and Josh, this has been Illini Drive.